Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a truth so clear and so powerful that it will strike a chord in every heart here today. No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. Now, that truth is not mine, it echoes from the wisdom of the ages, from the lips of Eleanor Roosevelt to the pages of history's greatest thinkers. But today, I come to share it not as theory, but as a call to action. When people treat you with disrespect, the natural response is often to question your value or wonder what you did wrong. But here's the truth. Your worth is not defined by how others see you. It is defined by how you see yourself. You must recognize that disrespect is often more about the person delivering it than the person receiving it. Insecure people project their own issues onto others. People who feel threatened will often try to diminish you to feel bigger themselves. That has nothing to do with your value. When you know who you are, you no longer need to seek permission to be confident. You don't wait for external validation to feel significant. Your value is inherent. It is not up for negotiation. Imagine a $1 bill. It can be crumpled, stepped on, or thrown in the dirt, but it's still worth $100. That's how you must view yourself. Others may not treat you as they should, but their failure to respect you does not reduce your true value. It takes mental discipline to maintain this mindset, especially in a world that often demands approval and applause. But developing an unshakable sense of self is foundational to success. Every great leader, every powerful creator, every person who ever changed the world did so because they knew their worth before anyone else did. They believed in themselves when no one else would. By knowing your worth, you stand tall even in the face of criticism. You stop trying to please those who are determined not to see you. You walk with purpose, speak with authority, and act with confidence. And in doing so, you force the world to take note. It's not because you begged for it, but because you became undeniable. That is the power of knowing your worth. One of the most powerful things you can do when dealing with people who don't respect you is to set clear, firm boundaries. Many people struggle with this because they fear confrontation or rejection. But the truth is, boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about protecting your peace, your time, and your self-worth. Without them, you invite disrespect, even unintentionally, by allowing others to cross lines you never clearly drew. Setting boundaries doesn't require anger or aggression. It simply requires clarity and consistency. When someone speaks to you in a disrespectful tone, you don't need to shout back or prove your point. You calmly let them know, "I don't allow people to speak to me like that," and you walk away if the behavior continues. This sends a clear message: your self-respect is not up for debate. People will treat you how you allow them to. If you tolerate behavior that diminishes you, it becomes a pattern. But when you set and enforce boundaries, you shift the dynamic. You teach people how to engage with you, and you do it through your actions more than your words. It's not enough to say what you won't accept. You have to show it through how you respond when those lines are crossed. Strong boundaries are a reflection of a strong inner world. They signal that you value yourself enough to protect your energy and your standards. Not everyone will like it. Some will push back. But those who genuinely respect you will adjust, and those who don't will remove themselves, which is also a gift. In the end, boundaries are not walls. They are doors. They don't keep everyone out, but they control who gets in. And when you take control of that, you take control of your life. When faced with disrespect, the instinctive reaction is often emotional: anger, frustration, or the urge to retaliate. But true strength lies not in reacting, but in remaining calm and composed. Emotional control is one of the most powerful tools you can possess when dealing with people who fail to show you respect. It allows you to keep your dignity intact and ensures that your response is a reflection of your values, not their behavior. Reacting emotionally often gives the other person exactly what they want. power over your mood, your words, and your actions. When you lash out or try to prove a point in the heat of the moment, you risk lowering yourself to their level. You may win the argument, but lose control of yourself. That is a price too high for temporary satisfaction. Staying composed doesn't mean you're weak or that you're ignoring the situation. It means you are choosing your battles with intention. You're not letting someone else's lack of character dictate your behavior. Instead, you respond with thoughtfulness and control. You speak only when it adds value. You walk away when it protects your peace. That calm, steady presence often says more than 1,000 words ever could. People remember how you made them feel, but they also remember how you carried yourself when things got tense. When you remain unshaken in the face of disrespect, it silently commands respect. It shows that you are not emotionally governed by external negativity. You are driven by internal discipline. There is unmatched power in choosing silence over shouting, grace over aggression, and poise over provocation. Emotional control is not just a way to handle difficult people. It is a skill that elevates you above the chaos and keeps you focused on what truly matters: your growth, your peace, and your purpose. There is no greater answer to disrespect than undeniable success. When someone underestimates you, dismisses you, or tries to tear you down, arguing with them often leads nowhere. Words rarely change minds hardened by jealousy, ignorance, or insecurity. What does change the game? Without fail is proof. And nothing proves your worth more powerfully than the results you create. Success doesn't need a loud voice. It doesn't explain itself. It speaks in achievements, in progress, in quiet victories that echo far louder than confrontation ever could. The energy you spend trying to make someone respect you is better invested in building something so strong they can no longer ignore it. When you focus on your growth, your goals, and your purpose, you naturally begin to rise above the noise. And when you rise, those who doubted you are forced to watch from below. It's not about ego or revenge. It's about reclaiming your power and directing it towards something meaningful. Let the pain of being underestimated drive you, not destroy you. Let it fuel your discipline. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you every day why you can't afford to stay average or waste time proving yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. Over time, results rewrite the story. The very people who once disrespected you may find themselves asking for your help, your time, or your attention. But by then, their opinion won't matter, because you'll have outgrown the need for it. Success brings peace. It silences noise. It creates space where respect becomes the natural outcome, not something you have to chase. So the best response to disrespect is not to fight it. It is to outgrow it. Focus on your goals. Build something real. Let your results speak on your behalf. The people you choose to surround yourself with shape the way you think, feel, and act. If you constantly find yourself dealing with disrespect, it's worth asking, who are you allowing into your life? Your environment influences your mind, set more than you might realize. If you're always around people who belittle, doubt, or dismiss you, over time, you may start believing their version of you instead of your own. Not everyone deserves access to you. Some people are only comfortable when you play small, because your growth threatens their comfort. Others may not respect you simply because they don't respect themselves. That's why it's so important to be intentional about your circle. Spend time with people who uplift you, who challenge you to be better, who speak life into your vision. When you're surrounded by respect, it becomes easier to demand it from the world. The quality of your relationships has a direct impact on the quality of your life. Being around the right people brings clarity, confidence, and motivation. It reinforces your sense of worth. These individuals won't just celebrate your wins. They'll remind you of your power when you forget it. They'll hold you accountable not to stay where you are, but to rise. Sometimes removing yourself from toxic or disrespectful relationships is the most respectful thing you can do for yourself. It may be difficult, especially if those people are familiar or close. But growth often requires separation. You must decide who gets the privilege of being in your space. Ultimately, you become like those you spend the most time with. Choose people who reflect the values you stand for. Choose those who see your worth without you having to prove it, because the right circle won't just respect you. They'll help you become the person you were meant to be. Disrespect can feel like a wound to the ego, but it can also be a powerful catalyst if you know how to use it. The sting of being underestimated or looked down upon has the potential to either break you or build you. The choice lies in how you interpret it. Instead of letting disrespect weaken your spirit, choose to transform it into motivation. Let it become the fuel that drives you forward, the spark that pushes you to sharpen your focus and intensify your efforts. Some of the most accomplished people in history were not propelled by applause, but by rejection and doubt. They took the energy of being overlooked and turned it into relentless drive. They didn't waste time trying to change other people's opinions. They redirected that energy inward, building themselves in silence until the results spoke volumes. Disrespect, when channeled correctly, becomes an unmatched motivator. It awakens something powerful within you, a refusal to settle, a hunger to prove, not to others, but to yourself, what you are truly capable of. When someone disrespects you, it's a mirror showing you where you need to grow stronger. Maybe it's in your boundaries, your confidence, or your discipline. Instead of asking, "Why don't they see my value?" ask, "What can I do to become so valuable that they can't ignore me?" That's not about seeking approval. It's about building undeniable presence and power. You cannot always control how people treat you, but you can control what you do with it. Use every slight, every dismissal, every overlooked opportunity as a reminder to dig deeper and rise higher. Turn disrespect into discipline, let it sharpen your purpose, and above all, remember that success is the best response, not out of spite, but out of strength.